When in doubt, use brute force. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the shop for part 2 of our flamethrower build video. You remember in our last video we took a 20-pound CO2 tank, a scuba harness, and some other miscellaneous fittings and put them all together to make a basic flamethrower assembly. In this video today we're tying up the loose ends with a slightly more complicated assembly and getting this thing ready for action. And once again, just want to give a big shout out to flamethrowerplans.com. They in no way sponsored this video, but it was their idea and made this video possible today. So our flamethrower is pretty much assembled. There's really only 2 things that we need to do left at this point, and that is to take the hose from our pressure washer and connect it to the CO2 tank, then take a propane torch and mount it underneath the pressure washer. But it's not nearly as easy as it sounds because we're actually gonna have to do a lot of modifications to the nozzle itself. All right, so first things first, let's jump over to our tank and drill some holes. Now I'm gonna be shooting this thing right-handed. When this sits on my back, I want the hose to connect to the right side right down here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is put the paintball tank across from me on the opposite side. I'm gonna take my left hand, go all the way to the bottom, and measure up from the bottom 1 inch. And now that we got our position marked, I'm gonna be using a 37/64 drill bit to drill and tap a hole. Yay, success. That took far longer than I was expecting. You know what's really weird about that is I think we caught it on the curve. There's like ½ an inch here, but then it curves in. Obviously the bottom is thicker than the walls are because the top part of the wall here is only about ½ an inch thick, but then that back end is like 1.5 inches. I'm not sweating at all. So quick update guys, I finally got through this tank here. It was a lot more difficult than I was expecting. Here's why. When I drilled down into this aluminum, I was expecting it to maybe be ½ an inch thick, but it just kept going and going. And I think the reason is because the bottom of this tank is actually sloped on the inside. So there's much more metal near the bottom. And even though the instructions say to drill at the 1 inch point, just be prepared that it's gonna be a lot more work than you think. We used our 37/64 bit to go in, and then I used this 3/8 inch 18 NPT to actually cut some threads. So theoretically, the end of our pressure washer hose should now screw in perfectly. But the problem with drilling and tapping our own hole is it's put a lot of aluminum shavings inside the tank. So I actually had to take a pair of channel locks and a rubber mallet and knock the top valve loose to open a hole big enough we could turn the tank upside down and shake all those shavings out. So here we are guys, it took quite a bit of work, but we now have the hose attached to the tank. A few surprises along the way. The tank is very, very thick. It's very difficult to tap this thing, and screwing the hose on only got within about 1/4 of an inch of the tank itself. But there's quite a bit of pipe thread tape on there, and it's sealed up pretty nice and tight. So I think it's gonna do the job, and now we can move on to adding the propane torch to the actual flamethrower nozzle itself. Now looking at the plans, I think this might be one of the harder ways to go. It might be a little bit easier to stick some kind of electric igniter near the end of the tip. So as the gasoline's coming out, it auto ignites with high voltage electricity. However, I am going to stay true to the plans, and we're going to finish this thing out with the propane torch. Now the basic modification we need to make with the torch itself is actually to bend this part forward, because when it's resting up against here, you can see the flame goes straight through the gasoline, and we want it to be more in line with the flow. But unfortunately, it's not quite as easy as just taking this tube and bending it. There are things on the inside that we need to tweak. We also want to modify the handle so it offsets about 130 degrees, so we can use it more as a handle for striking the flame on our flamethrower. So we're gonna get down here, we're gonna undo the nuts and the bolts, we're gonna pull out the electrical cable, we're gonna heat this thing up with another torch, bend it, let it cool down, and then we're gonna drill, tap a hole, and reassemble everything, and hopefully it works. So what I just did is took a little Allen wrench and I undid this set screw, which allowed me to remove the entire nozzle. At that point I unscrewed the tip and we could see down inside there was a little green wire which is used to make the electric spark to actually light off the propane or the MAP gas. That little green wire needed to come out, so we took the little elbow bracket, pulled the cap off that, and then unscrewed it so that we could push the green wire up through the top of the nozzle. And that's what we have now. So at this point, we're gonna make two main modifications to it. We're gonna heat up this elbow to the point where we can bend it up a couple of inches and straighten it out. Then we're gonna drill and tap a hole into the side of the brass, so when we put the whole thing back together, it would be offset to the point where we can start off our flamethrower with the press of a button. Alright guys, so here is where we're at with our nozzle. We took the other propane torch, we heated this up, and then we used a wrench to bend it over about 2 inches or so just so it flattens out the angle. Then we located the original hole for that 90-degree elbow and we flipped it over about 130 degrees and drilled and tapped a new hole into the top. Drilled with a 7/32" drill bit and tapped with a 1/4" F28. I also added a little bit of heat shrink tubing onto the green cable itself, and that's just to help protect it from any scratches and give it a little bit more thermal insulation. So the last step now is just to rerun that green wire through everything, use the new hole for our 90-degree elbow, and we basically put the propane torch back together. Oh, success. Beautiful. This is actually looking really good. Oh, right-handed. Oops, I meant left. Ah, dang it. I think I made it left-handed. Well, I messed that up, so we're gonna have to do it all over again. There we go, all fixed. Our torch modifications are complete, and I just gotta say, word of caution, don't do what I do. When you're drilling and tapping the new hole for the 90-degree elbow, make sure you're drilling it in the right place. When all said and done, you want your torch to be able to sit in your hand with your middle finger or pointer finger on the button there and the torch angling upward. It should look something like this. Now just to make sure the electrical went back together, I took the nozzle off, and as you look down and click it, we can actually see the green wire sparking against the outside of the tube. And clicking it 10 times in a row, we see it fire 10 times, so that's a very good sign. So at this point, we can put the nozzle back on, screw it onto a tank of propane, and see if it still lights off. All right, moment of truth, we pull the trigger. If this thing lights off, we should be good. Looks like it's firing off just about every time, so let's go ahead and strap it up. Strapping this propane tank to our pressure washer is as simple as using 2 of these large quick release bands. So there we have it, guys. You can see I've got the propane tank connected now to the pressure washer nozzle. I just used 2 of these bands, cinched them up nice and tight, and I tried to line it up so that the nozzle and the propane nozzle are in line with each other. It looks like we did a pretty good job. Now in essence, this is it, and just for fun, I'm gonna strap this to my back and just get a feel for how it works. But before I actually use this, before I fill it full of gasoline and diesel, I'm gonna do a pressure test with water, look for any leaks, and then charge up this CO2 container here. The basic idea of how this system works is this big CO2 canister here provides pressure inside the tank, which pushes the gasoline and diesel mixture through this hose to the pressure washer, out the nozzle, and into the flame of the propane torch below. And if this thing does what it claims, we should be able to shoot flames about 50 feet long. What's really nice about this is it's very ergonomically placed. We got the propane torch right up here in the left hand, we got the pressure washer in the right hand, and it just feels very, very comfortable. And to make this thing spray, we just disengage the safety, pull the handle to get the gasoline shooting, ignite the propane torch, and throw some flames. So using pressure washer parts and a CO2 tank, we've been able to make a flamethrower using instructions off the internet. And the next time you see this thing, we'll be in action, putting it to the test with diesel and gasoline. Thanks for joining me for this build video. I'll be looking for you in the next one. Talk to you then.
In case we haven't met yet, I'm Nate, and I'm here working with Grant on some awesome new projects.
Yes, I'm excited to have Nate joining us here on The King of Random, if you will have him. And with any luck, you'll be seeing him in the next video. Talk to you then. Real quick update, guys. I came out here to pressure test the system and found that I made a few of the connections a little bit differently than the instructions suggest. Down here to the tank, I just had the hose connected straight to it. And what I've done is I've taken two of the fittings and I put a male fitting and then this quick connect adapter so that now this flamethrower does match the plans perfectly.